Greetings, everyone. This is Reverend Chris, and welcome to another edition of the Ascension Minutes. Bits and bytes and tips and information, sharing of my experience, things that I have learned, things that I see that you could benefit from. Today's edition is devoted to a Q&A session. There are a number of things that I'm seeing coming up, questions I'm being asked from viewers, from clients, and situations coming up with clients and other people on Facebook, comments I'm seeing that I'm going to address today. In light of where we are currently in the Great Awakening and Ascension cycle and how that's playing out. So let's go ahead and get started. And for this, I'm going to use a couple of visual aids here. I'm going to share some pictures with you that will help illustrate what I'm talking about, what's going on. So the first question I'm going to address here came from one of my viewers. And the question is, with all these energy waves and energy cleansings, you'd think we'd be upgraded enough to have foresight by now. That there wouldn't be, in that I'm adding, there wouldn't be a question of whether we could see what was coming or see from a higher viewpoint or not, that we wouldn't be blindsided by this or blinded to it in any way. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share. And this is the first image to kind of put you in that place, all right, of that place of being able to see from a higher perspective. And I'm going to open this up just a little bit. Here we go. We all are fitted with this ability, to see ahead. And truth be told, we always have been. We just haven't, one, been vibrating high enough to actually use it and have the ability to access it and use it as it is meant to be used. But two, what is really going on right now, having the ability, and even once we have the ability to use it, right, our vibration is up there. We are in 5D now. We're in the 5D New Earth timeline, and we're here on the 5D New Earth. We all have the ability, or pretty much all of us do. Some of us are still in stages of awakening that need to come up to that. They need to clear blocks and things, like all of us that can do this already have, right? That's what this viewer is referring to, is all of these clearings and cleansings and everything we've gone through to open ourselves up to this. So yes, even those who are at that place where they could be easily doing this aren't. Why is that, do you think? It has to do with our habits, 3D behavioral and mental habits. We grew up in a dense, mentally concentrated state of existence, depending on our minds to bring in information, use that information, and figure out what's going on based on what we see at ground level. And that is a hard habit to break, because our ego minds are in charge of that habit, right? Our ego minds don't want, and there's an ego control going on there. Ego does not want to let go of that role in your life. And so a lot of people are really kind of struggling with that. And even the ones that have kind of stepped away, detached some from that, are still defaulting to this mental model of analysis and interpretation based on ground level physical world activities and experiences and what they see and hear and feel, all, you know, this, the five senses, right? They haven't yet learned to default to that higher place of vision. And a better way to think of this higher place is like, where is that higher place? The higher place is seeing from your soul star, is getting up into your soul star chakra, above your crown chakra, up into your soul star chakra, which is a couple 3 feet above your head. Coming from that place and being able to see the bigger picture, to be able to see what's coming, to be able to stay separate from all of this jumbling down on the ground. So that's why things are not, you know, people are just not seeing this stuff, or, you know, that those of us who are here to, you know, part of the awakening, right? The angel is connected to my soul as an angel of awakening. And that's my job, is to help you open those doors, you know, to take off the locks and open the doors into your abilities and into your soul and your divine self, right? To help you rise up, to ascend into your true divine self, and all of that has to offer. But people, and that's what our job is there. I'm not the only one here like this. There are bunches of us that are doing this right now. And all of us are continuously reminding you to go higher, to not get buried in the drama of the physical world and what you see happening around you, to go higher, to step away from it, to find the truth, because that's where true vision lies, is up there in your soul star. That's why we still need those reminders, because we need to be reminded to go up. It's one of, in the last video I did for the 40,000 feet, I believe it was, or no, maybe before that. All right, I did a video where I talked about, recently, where I talked about accessing your higher self and being able to gain information through your higher self. Through, you know, I train people to do this, and it's called a truth signal. It's amazing, it's wonderful. And the whole purpose of this, when the angel showed it to me years ago, was onefold: to access, you know, have access to your higher self, which has a 360-degree vision, knows the consequences of every action that you might take, of the infinite possibilities that are out there, and to get guidance based on your higher self vision. And this is, you know, connecting to that helps you to see truth, helps you to get true guidance and direction, takes you out of that. That's the biggest thing here, is it takes you out of that mental decision-making model. Think about it. How many decisions that you make every day are truly, in the end, guesswork? They're your best analytic guess, no matter how certain you think you are, right? Or unless you're doing mathematics, right? That's not a decision, that's a function. But any decision that you're making, choices that we make, they are based on our best guess of what's the best thing to do. The higher self connection takes that guesswork out and frees up your mind and all that mental energy that's been used up for you to do other things with your mind, and to get that guidance from your higher self, and it develops a relationship with spirit, right? And moving up into that soul star chakra relationship with your divine self. That's the whole purpose for what, developing that relationship, holding those higher relationships, using them all the time. A lot of spiritual people over the years, I have noticed, very talented, very deeply connected with amazing abilities, only use them when they sit down to do spiritual work. They're not using them all day long. They're not connecting with their higher guidance to make the decisions that they have to make all day long. And it doesn't have to be even a big decision. All right, what does my body really want for dinner tonight? What's the best basic diet for my body to follow? What is the best, what phone, purchase would serve my needs the best? Things like that we are just taking what information we have and we're making a decision. We're not accessing the tools that we have to make the best decisions. So that's why we are still in a place where we're not seeing ahead. It's not that we can't, it's that we haven't developed the habit of accessing that gift yet. And when I train my clients and students, because every student in every class I teach always learns to access higher self through what I call the truth signal. And it makes such a difference. They're amazed and they have so much fun with it because now they're getting answers and they're seeing things in a way that they hadn't seen before, and they're freeing up their minds from all that draining, stressful decision making that you do every day. How many days do you get done with the day and you say, oh my God, I can't make another decision today. Just tell me what to do. Throw something on the table in front of me. I don't even want to decide what to eat. Those kind of things, all right? So anyway, that's the answer to this viewer's question, is that it's just a habit. We're in a habit of not using the gifts that we have because for a lot of us, they're very new and we're not even thinking that we can be using them because we're in the habit of using everything that's down here. Start using the gifts that you have. Climb up to your soul star and start looking from there. If you want help, you know where I am. All right, so let's go with the second question that came up. And this is also very much about where we are right now in the Ascension process and the 5D process, the Great Awakening. This question was, I am dealing with numerous major issues at the same time. The frustration is just like, dealing with numerous, all of this stuff is blowing up at the same time. I've got all of these fires I'm trying to put out. When will this be over? When are we going to be done with that? So what is really going on here? And wait a minute. Whoa, get back here. Got to get this. There we go. So what's really going on here? It is, no, get over here. Why won't this allow me to do that? Hello. Hang on, we're going to stop the share. And then we're going to get back here. Hang on. Let's see what I need to do. Why is this being funky on me? Okay, so we're going to delete that. Okay, so hang on here a second. I'll go back here. There we go. So we are in a time now, and I did allude to this in the 40,000 foot reading that I just put out yesterday, Monday. And the Phoenix was one of the cards that came up, and that's all about, and it's not the Phoenix in the rising mode, it's the Phoenix in the flame out mode. Flaming out, going down to ashes, burning everything, burning all of it was up, and then being able to then from that point rebuild and restart and rise up from the ashes. Something new and better than ever before. And so the question there is, we see all of this stuff burning down. We can understand that in order for us to rebuild, and in many cases, this is not a matter of just like a remodeling job. This is a total knock it down and start from scratch, because we have so many belief systems and belief sets that we need to change drastically before we start over again. It's kind of like if you learned how to do something on your own and you figured out a way to do that thing, just simple example, all right? Maybe it has to do with, hammering in a nail. And you've been doing it on your own all this time. And then at some point, a professional comes in and sees you doing what you're doing the way you're doing it and says, oh, wait a minute, let me teach you a better way to do that. And they take and they show you a much more efficient way of getting that nail in, hammering that nail in, what size hammer to use, where to hold it, how to hold the nail, all of those things, right? So you have to start over and get rid of the old habits that you were using so that you can adopt the new ones. So that's the place that we're in. And so the answer to the question, when will it end? It ends as soon as everything is burned down, as soon as we surrender to the change, as soon as we stop fighting it. Another card that came up in the reading that I did for this week was the mirror. That was the first card right in front of us. And it's not just oh yeah, there's the mirror, I see this off in the distance. No, this is in your face, not just globally, but personally in your face, the mirror. And until we are willing to accept that what that mirror is showing us is a reflection of our thoughts and beliefs, and start making the changes and surrender those beliefs in favor of something new, it's not going to end. It's going to continue to try and burning everything up until you get to the point where you're ready to say, okay, jump in the boat, drop the oars over the side and go. So we have to understand that we can't stop the earthquake. We have to roll with it and accept the changes and start anew when it's all done. That's what's going on. And that's the answer to that question. If you need help with that, or you want my help with that, identifying the things that you need to let go of and you need to surrender, where I am again. So let's go to the third question that I received. Or actually, it's a situation. I won't say so much question, it's situation. All right. So this one is all about, and I'm seeing this in a number of people who are experiencing really strong emotional and physical pain. Emotionally, on a short trigger, a short fuse, or in physical pain, or both. And in some cases, that physical pain is excruciating. And coming from all directions. It's not just one issue. It could be a number of issues that are showing up in the body and causing this pain. It isn't just an ache or an illness or a cough. I mean, it's pain. The emotional pain that's coming up is more likely to be causing other body symptoms like the cough and the cold and the stomach bug, or, things like that. An ache, or a hitch in the knee or the hip, or back pain or whatever, or back hitch, but not the kind of pain that is literally coming at the physical body level. So why is this? What is causing this? Well, when we are in pain, it's because we are resisting letting go. We're holding on to something that no longer serves us, probably never did, or if it once did, it's time to let go. You have to let go. What do you hold? What are you gaining by holding on? What is this codependent relationship between you and the source of this emotional pain? Who's benefiting from it? Why is it so important for you to hold on to it? Why are you afraid of letting go of it? And yes, it is a fear of letting go. What are you afraid of losing if you let go of these things that are causing you pain? And that pain could be, the emotional pain could be, guilt or sadness or grief, anger. The anger, the things that cause us emotional pain are our wounds, right, that we've had. We're all familiar with what the wounds are. They're the things that happen in our lives that cause upheaval and disruption and push against what we believe to be our truth and our reality. And then we go and accept this thing and denying our truth and our reality. And that's where this comes from. That's what causes us to be in this painful situation, emotional. And eventually, when we don't take care of this at the emotional level, it comes into the body. And all of this is soul related, right? Because everything that causes us pain is in essence a denial of our soul truth. Think about that for a minute. Who you really are, everything in here, this center, core of your being, your true identity, your soul identity that you were born into this world with as an agent of nothing but love. If you've ever, everybody who's ever been close to a baby knows that babies exude love. It's their one and only tool until they learn they have to have others, like crying because they're uncomfortable, or learning fear, which they didn't come into the world with. But that is at the core of who we are, right? That is our divine true identity, lives in our soul center. And everything that contradicts what our soul knows to be true about us is the true cause of the pain that we experience. And our body reflects our soul's pain. Is the way, it's a reflection of how our soul is dealing with this rejection of its truth. Because all the time that we're adopting the things that other people tell us about ourselves, our soul is saying, no, that's not true. Tell them to go away. Do your thing. Be you, be us. But when we hear it enough times, or we're shown it enough times, because, we let other people have control of us, then we eventually give up trying to fight City Hall, so to speak, the joint tribal edicts about who we are and what we're supposed to do and all of those things. Eventually we give up fighting that, and then that becomes this wound, and our soul is like, no. And we adopt that. It becomes part of our ego identity. It becomes an outer shell version of who we are presenting to the world, or who we think we are based on what everybody else tells us we are. So that's where all of this comes from. That's where all the pain comes from. And when we ignore it long enough, it comes into our body, because our soul is constantly trying to show us that what we believe is not our truth. And that pain, emotional, or, and eventually when it gets to the point where we have ignored it long enough, we're not listening to what our soul is trying to tell us, the intensity of what is going on gets worse and worse and worse and worse, and enters into the body, right? Our body reflects our soul's pain. And our soul doesn't want us to feel this pain. Our soul doesn't want to be experiencing the pain that is coming to it because of our rejection of it. But is just a natural consequence of our not, the further away we get from what our soul truth is, right? We think of the rubber band stretching. Well, the worse this pain gets. And and why doesn't it go away? It doesn't go away because we haven't seen that we're the ones that have to fix it. We haven't seen the issue or been willing to address it. We're still in a place where we believe that this outer shell that we've been wearing all our lives is our truth. And we're attached to the pain. We become dependent on it. It's become part of us and part of our identity. And the harder that we grip onto that and hold onto it, the deeper the pain gets. That's what a big part of the depression that people feel is. Now, I'm not talking about chemically induced or brain chemical clinical depression here. Okay, there are chemical imbalances that will cause a depression, right? I am talking about the depression that results when we are not aligned with our soul and our soul path and who our soul is and our soul truth, who we are. When we come out of sync with that, we go into depression because our soul is saying, oh, I can't deal with this anymore. Our soul is saying, please come back. That rubber band just gets stretched harder and harder. And the further away we get, the deeper the depression goes. And we need to turn away from the stuff that's pulling us apart from that and come back. That's what causes these things to end. At what, what's going to make it stop? The other thing to consider here is, right, if you think about this, another way is you look, here's the balloon that's on the ground. And the ascension, all of this vibrational, high vibrational energy is filling up this balloon, causing it to want to rise. And right now, you are stuck on the ground because you haven't let go of the guide ropes, where this is where your soul wants to be right now. This is where you should be right now, is flying high, letting loose, being free to be you and to experience life in a totally different way. But as long as you remain stuck here because you're not ready to let go of the things that are causing your pain and align with your soul, you're going to wind up being pulled in two different directions, because this balloon is going to keep filling, because the ascension is saying, there is a harsh taskmaster. We have to rise. So, you have the balloon chained to the ground, so it can't go anywhere. Eventually, something's got to give. Or think of yourself in a, I don't know, maybe think of a swimming pool, and you're chained to a cannonball on the bottom of this swimming pool, and that cannonball and those chains are all of these pain-inducing negative and false beliefs that you have that are embedded in your ego identity that you're not ready to let go of, and your wounds that you're not ready to let go of because you've taken them as part of your identity, that foundation that you walk on. And you're chained to that, and you're in the bottom of a swimming pool, and the swimming pool is empty at this time. But the swimming pool starts to fill up. And as it does, gets higher and higher and higher and higher. And you have a pair of water wings, or you have a flotation device on you. You're wearing a life vest. And as that water gets higher and higher, that flotation device wants to pull you up and pull you up and pull you up and pull you up. And so what happens? You get caught between this device raising you up and this chain holding you down. And all you have to do to free yourself from that chain is to surrender. And how do you do that? The first step is to declare that you're ready to do that. And I can tell you from my own experience, there was a day 12 years ago, almost at this time, when I had crashed and burned for the last time. I was just like, I'm done with this. And I sat down and I just said, God, whom I had been really pissed off at and hadn't talked to for 6 years, by the way. I was at the point when I was ready to surrender. It's like, I'm done. And I just said, God, look, I am here, Heavenly Father, and I am telling you that I have been trying to do things my way all of these years. And I got to tell you that I'm not really thrilled with the results that I have gotten, because at that time I had finally gotten fired from the only job I'd ever gotten fired from. I was always successful at everything. I'd gotten fired from that job, the beginning of the recession in 2008. But the truth was that my soul was so miserable. The distance between my job and the soul got so far that I was so miserable that they had to fire me. You know, it was the best thing they ever did for me. I needed that. I was in horrible shape. So I just said, here I am. I'm not pleased at, not thrilled at all with the results of me doing this my way. Heavenly Father, I surrender up unto your guidance, and I'm asking you to take me now and lead me where you want me to be, to show me what your will for me is and what your path is for me that you've laid before me, that I have been unable or unwilling to see. I surrender unto you, Heavenly Father, and to your guidance, and ask you for your grace and mercy to lead me forward and help me, pave the path before me, light the path before me. Amen. So it is, whatever. That was the conversation. That was the prayer. And that's the first step for you to do this. And you have to really mean it, because if you don't, if you're saying, well, Heavenly Father, I surrender to you and I want you to guide me, but in the back of your mind is like, oh no, we can't do this. I can't let go of that. No, I can't do this. No, you can't take that. Then you haven't surrendered. You have to be willing to let go of all of it and go where you're guided to be. Trust me, when you do this, all of a sudden things start falling into place. Bing, 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 bing. And you are literally guided in the direction that you need to be. Coincidences, synchronicities, people you meet, things they say, opportunities that come up to you, silly things like TV shows or advertisements that come up to you. And all of a sudden there's this like being, some kind of a light goes off and you get drawn towards something. It just happens organically and easily as long as you are willing to surrender and go with the guidance that you've gotten. But you can't tell God that he can't take something from you. Because if you do, you haven't surrendered. How do you know that what it is that you're holding on to is serving your highest good and God's will in your path, your soul mission? How do you know that? What do you need to let go of? What do you need to be willing to let go of? And those things that you don't want to let go of, what good are they really doing for you? Why are you holding on to them? Look inside. You have to go into your heart and into your mind and really examine the truth about that. What is that doing for you? Is it doing your body any good? Your body is telling you, get this shit out of here. Let go. Remove it, because all the energy that you're using to hold on to all of that stuff, the anger, the fear, the wounds, the grief, all of that energy being used on those things and sent to those things, believe me, you have no idea how huge that is robbing your body of the ability to heal and robbing your light bodies and your spirit of the ability to heal. So you have to let go of this stuff so that your body can do what it was designed to do, because your body wants to heal. It wants to maintain your highest and best state of health and well-being and function. But you have to let go. Find somebody to help you let go if you don't know how to do it yourself, if you don't know what to let go of, if you don't know how to get into the place where you can. I understand that. Been there, done that. Get some help. These are the things that we're being really strongly guided to do. And it's not even guided anymore. It's like, pushed. Because they have to be done. We cannot complete our ascension until we're ready to do this. Unless you're ready to surrender to God and let He and His angels and guides and masters and your own, guardian team help you, unless you're willing to surrender to the help that they're here to give you in the way that they need to give it to you to get you back on the right track, then you're going to keep suffering. It's a harsh way to put things, but it's the reality of things. Nobody else causes our suffering, peeps. We do it to ourselves. Our responses to the external world cause our suffering. Does that mean people aren't doing bad things to us? No, it doesn't. But how we respond to those things is what causes our suffering. Can we be sad or angry or whatever for a while? Can we process those emotions? Yes. Do. But let them go. What's done is done. Holding on to this stuff never hurts the other person. It only hurts you. And for those of you who are in physical pain or who have ongoing or serious physical issues, you have to learn what to let go of and to do it. And basically it's, like I said, say the prayer of surrender and mean it. Finally get to the place where you have had enough and you just say, I'm done. Show me. I'm done being dense and stupid and in pain and in misery. Show me. That's your first step. And then spirit and your soul and your team take over from there. Dear God, I surrender, show me. That's when your team steps in and can take action. Until then, they're doing what they can to show you what you're doing to yourself, to show you in that mirror, right, what's happening, that it's yours, that it's coming from you. And again, the mirror never shows you the things that other people are doing. The mirror shows you what you believe. And so when the mirror is showing things that make you uncomfortable, you have to examine the belief set that you have that is sponsoring that discomfort. It can be a long slog. Very little of this is instantaneous or quick because it's taken you a while to get into this state. It's going to take you a while to get out of it. Your release and surrender can be instantaneous, but it's going to take a while to set everything right and put it back in balance as it needs to be. Instantaneous healing in these situations would be worse than the issue that you're dealing with, because the body can only deal with so much at one time, and it's already dealing with more than it can take, or else you wouldn't be in pain, or you wouldn't have these issues going on. Same thing with emotional issues. All right, surrender to God, higher self, divine source, whatever that highest guidance is that you sense in the universe, the divine matrix, great ego, whatever, great spirit, Allah, Jehovah, whatever you want to call that, surrender to that higher power to guide you, to take over the reins. You get in the back seat and let God and his team drive, take you to your destination, show you the road, clear the path. That's what you're being called to do now if you are in this situation where you are in this kind of pain, emotional or physical. You want to be, and your soul wants to be here. Let's do whatever is needed to do to get you there. Doesn't that picture just make you feel like, oh my God, yes, I want to be there. I want to be free. I want to be soaring. And the only way that's going to happen is if you surrender. Yeah, cut the ties. You get rid of the anchor. Get rid of the oars. That's what you need to do. So, my dear friends, that covers what I wanted to deal with in this session of Ascension Minutes. It's a little longer than a minute, but sometimes these things need that much time to explain so that you can understand what's going on with you and begin to deal with it from that perspective, right? Getting out of the middle of the forest, surrounded by the trees, and rising up to see the broader picture, and getting out of that place of pain, being ready to release it and surrender it. To let yourself be cleansed in the fire. Start over again. All right, my lovelies. Thank you for being here with me for this edition of the Ascension Minutes. And if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. Don't hesitate. I will be glad to answer them for you. And maybe on a regular basis, I'll wind up doing more of these Q&As when things come up for everybody. Thank you so much. Love you all. Good evening.